Hey everyone, welcome to this edition of Another Disney Podcast. It's episode 17 for the week of April 30th.
Ooh.
Brandon, we finally got to see you face to face and hold hands and skip through the parks together.
Skip down Main Street, holding hands and taking photos.
It was
glorious.
With no mask.
Glorious. It was good to see you guys.
We had a good time. So, as you can probably tell, we'll spend most of this episode unpacking our trip, what we experienced, what we learned, what were some awesome takeaways, what were some things that I think Disney's still growing through with some of their new cool changes that they're doing. But overall, obviously a phenomenal experience just to be in the parks. And of course, when you're hearing this, Disneyland is opened today. They're opened today after 14 plus months, or maybe even longer than that, but it's been forever. We are so excited for those who get to actually experience that and can't wait to part through those gates one day in the future when they let all of the normal people come, all the lower class people.
Yeah, it's going to be super awesome.
Hey, let me hit you with some housekeeping real quick.
Boom, let's do it.
Okay, so we are officially, I know we already kind of announced this already, but we are officially on Magic of the Mouse Radio every single Saturday and Sunday. If you want to figure out what Magic of the Mouse Radio is, if you want to hear us on there, then go to Google. It's super easy. Just go to search Magic of the Mouse. It'll probably be the first thing that you'll see. So Magic of the Mouse is a 24/7, 365 station that plays all Disney music all the time.
Yeah.
So fun time.
Super fun.
Oh yeah.
It was cool to be a part of it.
Awesome.
So
yeah.
Happy to be on there.
Very cool.
We jumped in with both feet, which is probably wiser because, I'd rather break my legs than my face.
That's true.
Don't know what that meant. Hey, as always, we have a great show sponsor in Park Sense. They sell anything from theme park themed. I don't know if that works.
Theme
theme park scented candles, wax melts, room sprays, you name it. I forget what we're burning now, but I can't remember the name of it, but it smells exactly like Flight of Passage. Or maybe it's the Soarin' scene when they're in the boats. I can't remember. It's one of those two that we're burning tonight.
One of the boats ones.
But they're great. One of the things that I always like to brag about this company is twofold. The first one is if you do not feel like this scent matches your memory, 100% money back guarantee, and you get 20% off with our discount code, which is DISPOD20. That's DISPOD 20. And I mean, that's a little bit more than what every other Disney themed candle company gives you. But you didn't hear that from me.
It's true.
And so
it's
true. Great. I know Brandon's got some. We burn them out every episode, and we're just big fans of what they're doing. You can find them at parksense.com, and DISPOD20 gets you 20% off.
Yes.
Exciting stuff.
It is. Okay, so last bit of news is kind of big. I'm excited about it. I mean, these guys are cool. I'm the nerd, so there's not a lot of, I don't know. Just stay with me. You guys will get to enjoy the benefits of this nerdiness. How about that? Okay, so we have a new show that's launching Monday, which I think is May 1st?
Second?
First?
Nope,
second?
third. Third.
May the 3rd.
The first Monday in May. I think I should have went with that. I am launching a new show that I'm calling Experience Disney. Okay, so the tagline for this show is a fully immersive sights and sounds park adventure. If your first question is just like mine, and that is, what does that mean? It's okay to have that question because I had it too. All right. So I bought some headphones, not these, but these are special headphones that weirdly have microphones on the outside of the headphones. Now it doesn't look weird. It's not like I'm like this. It's not that kind of microphone. They blend right in, but they just have a microphone on either ear. So on the left ear, and they fit over your ear. And I wore them all over the parks and recorded tons of walking around.
Yeah.
All of World Showcase, recorded tons of attractions that actually had video to go with them as well. And so this is going to be, when I say immersive sights and sounds, so this technology of putting these microphones inside of each ear is called, wait for it, binaural audio.
Nerd.
Yep.
Nerd.
So, again, what does that mean? So I looked at the definition so I could tell you, and then I'll actually explain it to you, because the definition will leave you yet again scratching your head. A binaural recording is a method of recording sound that uses two microphones arranged with the intent of creating a 3D stereo sound sensation for the listener that actually gives the effect of being in the same environment as the mics. Okay, so now in real people terms, what does that mean? So what is really cool is, as I was walking through the parks or riding an attraction, when I turned or when the action or movement changed, if somebody's standing here and talking and they turn and her truck, you only hear it in the left ear.
Yeah.
And then if something goes behind you, it gives the sensation that feels like they're talking behind you. And then if they were to come all the way around into the right ear, same kind of thing. It would only be over here. So it's really cool to experience, really nerdy to talk about, but I think you're gonna enjoy them. I got 12, 15 attractions, guys. I took
You did
these
a
on.
lot of
Yeah.
them.
Yeah, and
You
then
definitely did a lot.
almost all of World Showcase. So I've got enough to release a show every week until we go back in October. That was the goal, and I did it. So again, you'll be able to find this wherever you listen to your podcast. So that's one important thing to talk about. On our YouTube channel, most of these have video that go along with it. So you'll just log into our YouTube channel, watch it with headphones on, and of course with your podcast, you'll want to listen to it with the headphones, but it will not have the video included. But it's really cool to kind of listen to it, close your eyes, and try to figure out where you are in the attraction or the ride. It's super cool, I promise. I'm done with the nerdy talk. I figured out all this weird nerdy stuff so you guys could have these wild, kind of, for lack of a better term, fully immersive parks experience, right?
Yes.
They're pretty cool. Brandon, you've listened to some.
I have listened to some, and let me tell you, if you can go on YouTube and watch it, the video makes the difference. It's super cool just listening to the audio and, like Dave said, closing your eyes and imagining that you're there. But when you can pair the video with it and watch where these sounds are coming from, it's awesome. I walked around with Dave in the parks this past weekend while he videoed some of these things. He looked super crazy doing it, but the result is awesome. So if you can, go to the YouTube, check it out. It's going to be awesome to see, but I really enjoyed them. It is a fully immersive experience. It makes it feel like you're there.
I mean, it had some weird thing hanging at the bottom of the headphones, but the headphones looked kind of weird. But I guess it is weird to be wearing headphones at a theme park. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's going to be a really cool Experience Disney. Just search Another Disney Podcast on your podcatcher of choice, or Experience Disney. You should be able to find it pretty easily. Again, launches Monday, whatever the first Monday is in May. Housekeeping done.
Also, I just learned the term podcatcher the other day. I always thought it was somebody like mispronouncing podcasting platform. They were just not saying it correctly, or they were not spelling it correctly. I don't know. I was just like, what is this?
I mean, I can explain the nerdiness behind that too.
I mean, I think I get it, but go ahead.
Well, all of these podcasts, you have to create what's called an RSS feed. They've been around probably as long as the internet's been around, but right. Stay with me. We'll set the alarm for the guys here in a minute.
Matthew, you're the one who asked him to explain.
I know.
It's really quick. So an RSS feed, if you subscribe to an RSS feed, it's constantly kind of like an open baseball glove, and when that feed gets updated, it gets sent to you and you catch it. Like because you're subscribed to that RSS feed, you're capturing whatever comes from that RSS feed.
That makes sense.
Makes sense.
Wow, this is
Makes sense.
Welcome to Disney Nerdnum podcast with your host Dave.
Nerdnum.
That show will be on Thursdays on our regular channel,
and 0.0% people will subscribe. Okay, moving on.
Parks news.
Hey, Parks news.
Let's do it.
It's important for people to understand that in our notes, when Matthew puts this section, this is what it says: PARK space SNOOZ.
E.
E. Math. Writing.
You forgot
Park.
the E.
Park snooze.
Park snooze. So I guess we were pretty boring.
Yeah.
All right, Matthew, lead us off.
Ooh, okay. I'm so excited about this one because we've been talking about it ever since we launched this podcast, because we started this podcast this year and the People Mover hasn't been open since. The People Mover is open. I'm very excited about it being open. I'm a little bit salty at Disney because it literally opened 2.5 hours after I left, but it's fine. So on Friday, I remember we were in line for, I don't think Brandon was there yet. We were in line for Buzz. And I was looking up at the People Mover and it was testing. And then I looked down at my phone and my friend, Nicole from DW60, she was on the show a couple months ago. She texted me, an Instagram post from somebody saying that the People Mover was opening this weekend. And I was like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh.
Disney World.
Yes. Jeff Vail.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my gosh, it's happening. And it didn't happen well.
And then a couple days later, Stitch, they took a picture of showing Stitch riding on it.
Yeah. Yep.
We got to hear Mike, his audio going.
That's all that matters.
So that was worth it for me.
That's definitely all that matters.
And they weren't
Yes,
crashing
it is.
into each other.
So, I mean,
It is open, which
Tis
is
great.
awesome. 'Tis great. We did have a little bit of worry. We heard that it was going to be open. Obviously, we went on Space Mountain, and Dave and my wife actually sent a picture, and the cast member was actually pushing the People Mover car backwards on the track. So we weren't really positive that it was going to open, but I'm glad it did. It's a bummer, Matthew, that it was 2 hours after you left, but.
I mean, I will say, like, I was never concerned about stuff like that because the People Mover is a ride that is facing everybody, and that's not typically how rides are. And so you never know what's going down in the testing process of rides. You know, maybe they do that kind of stuff on, I don't know, but you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's fair.
So I was never concerned about that kind of stuff. I always kind of shrugged it off, and luckily it opened.
Yeah, turned out you were right, but I was like, Krista came back and she was like, look at this video I just got. I was like, my man, is he trying to push start it?
It's had so many setbacks that, every time there's a little glitch, you're like, well, it was supposed to open in March, and then it was supposed to open in February, and now they're pushing it backwards. So.
Well, I mean, I was pretty confident because Disney hasn't ever come out and said the People Mover is opening this day. They've only ever pushed back the calendar date. So, I don't know. I was confident and I was excited.
Well, we were leaving Sunday, and I knew as soon as we read that tweet that I was like, it's going to open after we're gone.
Yep.
Guess what?
My brothers and parents left after I did, the day after I did, and my mom was like, "Hey, want to see our People Mover video?" I was like, "No, I don't.
They wrote it.
I don't want to see." Yeah, they did.
You should disown them.
I was like, "Thank you," but I was watching all of the live streams. I've already seen it.
Oh man, it's open. Tell your friends.
Do it.
If you could go in the next 2 weeks, I would, because you never know when it's going to break back down.
That's correct. If I could get a reservation, then I would happily go.
I know. This week is insane.
I am officially on the hunt for a October 1st reservation. I'm officially on the hunt. I renewed my pass today. We will see.
We shall see. Hopefully they open up more capacity by then.
Hey, Dave.
I have a sneaky suspicion they will. Yeah.
What you got? We've talked a lot about the people.
I got some news. This is when you talk about parks news. This isn't really parks news, but I was really excited. So, as a hashtag girl dad, Disney launched something yesterday, April 27th, that I was really, really excited for, especially for her. So, Disney kicked off a global ultimate princess celebration.
Oh, that sounds much better than Dream Big Princess.
Yes. So they announced the launch of the Ultimate Princess Celebration. This is going to be a year-long event, like spotlighting the courage and kindness of all of these Disney heroines that inspire fans all over the world. So if you think about Cinderella's generosity and Belle's ingenuity to Milan's selflessness, I knew I was going to say selfishness, and Moana's adventurous spirit, which my daughter I think connects to the most. Adventurous is the nice way to put it.
Yes.
I love you, sweetheart. So Disney is honoring these strong women through music, experiences, products, and a campaign to give back to children around the country. So I just love this. I love, I've loved seeing this shift, especially over the last, I wouldn't say decade, but maybe 5 years, of how the spotlight has shifted toward women like all over the place through film and trying to get paid to be equal in the regular workplace, trying to get paid to be equal, highlighting women in films, animation, so on, and in leadership, right? You've got a vice president now that's a female. So I'm so excited to see that this focus of real equality is what we're actually chasing. So I love that we're putting the focus back on these wonderful young ladies. So there's a couple of things that are happening. I'm going to highlight one that I think is really cool. So Disney Publishing Worldwide are releasing Tales of Courage and Kindness. Okay, so this is going to be short story collection that looks to inspire children to create a kinder world. Thank you very much. These are 14 original stories, and the illustrations are gorgeous. And it will demonstrate how the Disney princesses, as well as Queens Anna and Elsa, are kind and courageous, each in their own way. In celebration of the storybook launch, Disney princess voice talent, including Mandy Moore, who did
Rapunzel.
No, who did Moana?
Oh, I can't say her last name. Her last name is Carvalho.
Carvalho.
Yeah, there it is. Anika Rose and Kelly Marie Tran will read these stories from the collections, including those clearly inspired by Mulan, Tiana, and Moana.
Nice.
And they can all be viewed, I'll put this in the show notes, at princess.disney.com. And they are all free downloads beginning yesterday through the end of August. So this is not forever and ever, but through the end of August. And if you're lucky enough to live in the right place, there's going to be a touring concert celebrating all this. So it's going to go nationwide. It kicks off November 1st of this year. Be Our Guest, as an all-star quartet of Broadway and animated film icons, celebrates the Disney princesses in an unforgettable evening of story, animation, and song alongside their magical music director and enchanting guest prince, Tony nominee Susan Egan, and two-time Tony and nominee Laura Osnes. I should probably know who this is. Grammy-nominated Courtney Reed and rising star Alicia Jackson joined forces in this once-in-a-lifetime concert sponsored by Pandora. And then there's also a really cool T-shirts that look like the costumes that these princesses wear that are going to be available for sale. And it's a collaboration with Starlight Children's Foundation. And so they're not T-shirts. I don't know why I said that. They're hospital gowns.
Ooh.
For children. Oh my gosh. It's amazing. Okay, I'll send y'all. And of course, there's going to be a tons of merch that you can buy because Disney.
Hey, wait. Can you announce the title of this again?
You ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
Okay, I got to go all the way back to the top.
Ready?
Go.
Disney kicks off the Global Ultimate Princess Celebration. Ooh. Muted it. I didn't hear it. Oh, that was me, but it worked?
Yeah.
Shoot. We'll cut that part out. That's all I got. It has nothing to do with part support. I have a sneaky suspicion that all of this merch that I didn't talk about, anything from they have a Disney key, they've got figurines, they've got dolls, they got shoes, they got pajamas, they got it all. So
I love it.
Again, you can find those books at princess.disney.com. Really, really cool. And just like with it on. So year-long celebration started yesterday. Tell your friends.
Wow, a year-long celebration.
Year-long.
18-month celebrations were where it's at.
No, this one's much shorter.
Dream, big princess.
That is awesome. It's always good to empower young ladies, so that is super awesome.
Brandon, I'm very excited to hear your story because I tried reading this story about 15 times and I couldn't understand it.
So basically,
cancel
the story that Matthew is talking about. And as we've alluded to, it's harder and harder and harder to get a reservation down the line. So what Disney is doing, the way it worked before, say I wanted to book a hotel which I did. I go and book my hotel stay. Because I have a hotel stay, I can then book a park reservation. If I cancel that hotel stay, then my park reservation would still stay on the books. It would still be in my My Disney Experience app, and it would still be there. So you're basically taking a park reservation, but you don't have a valid entrance ticket. You don't have a valid hotel stay. It's kind of like
You need to go to jail.
And you would go to Disney jail. It's kind of how fast passes used to be. Like if you were going to stay on property, people would go, they would book their property, they'd book their fast passes, and then they'd cancel their Disney hotel and go stay off property, but they would be able to keep their fast passes. So what Disney is going to do with the reservations is you must have a valid park admission for that reservation to stay. So if you do not, Disney will then send you an email that says you have 24 hours to add a valid park reservation or ticket, or we're canceling your reservation. So the good news is a lot of those reservations may open back up in the summertime and towards the fall, because people book stuff that they're not going to show up for. So I'm super excited about it. Like I said, it's been impossible to get a reservation for almost anything for the last 2 weeks. Yeah. So it may help in that regard. So I'm super excited about it. People taking reservations that aren't ever coming to the park.
I'm sure. Yeah. That's huge. Okay. That makes a lot of sense. Cause I was like, how are people booking reservations without without
valid tickets
needed?
Yeah.
But no, that makes sense.
But yeah, I know, like for when we were there, I mean, it was really late in the day on Saturday before you could actually snag like a park to get into. And Matt, like you were checking all day, and Matthew randomly got one for you guys. So it makes me think of two things about living close to the magic, right? It's so awesome to be a pass holder.
No.
Right now during COVID, living super close to the magic, it really stinks being a pass holder.
Correct.
It's really, really challenging if you're not staying on property, and that's obviously you live there, so that's not a often occurrence.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and it was our goal was to go to Epcot that night, but Matthew was able to snag us the Animal Kingdom, so we had to go there. I mean, we made the most of it. We did the safari and rode Flight of Passage, and we finally got to Epcot, but it just becomes a giant hassle when you have to go to a park and scan in that you weren't intending to go to, just to get to the park that you are intending to go to. So it's a little fly in the ointment, but hopefully we won't have to deal with it much longer.
Fly in the ointment.
I mean, speaking of much longer, there was a lot of, maybe it was just me, but there seemed to be a lot of anticipation of what the CDC was going to say this week. And then when I looked at their little announcement, and then I looked at their green and yellow face mask things and what you could do, not much really changed, man. I thought it was going to give like some hope or some insight of what the late summer, early fall could look like. No, not really.
I mean, with the rate that Americans are being vaccinated, we're pretty well on our way to herd immunity.
Right.
So, I mean, who knows what it'll look like by summer, fall.
Yeah.
I mean, our president said that he wanted to have 300 million people vaccinated by August?
Yeah.
So, I mean, that could make a huge difference. So,
for sure.
We'll see.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's more. That's got to be more than, what are we, 330 million?
331 million in the latest census.
So that's more than 70%, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think.
Math. Tell your friends.
Math.
It's
Math is
90%.
fun.
That's 90%. Okay.
It's 98 degrees.
All right. I would say let's go on to a segment that we don't normally do, but will show up again one day. Let's do a trip review.
Oh.
Okay.
Let's do it.
My review is I didn't get to do all I needed to do. Let's go back.
I love it.
Okay. All right.
All right.
We'll see you guys next week.
Okay, bye. Okay, and we're back.
Oh, man. What a trip, guys. It was
I had a lot of
fun.
Yeah.
So, Matthew, you were, well, Brandon lives there, but you were there the longest. So talk about when you got there, what like who you were with, all
Yeah.
that fun stuff before Dave came and ruined your party.
Yeah. Okay, so I got to Orlando. Okay, so I had a video shoot in Virginia Beach, and I left for Orlando, or actually I left for Jacksonville. I was going to stop in Jacksonville. It's 2.5 hours away, but it was like I was going to get in at 1 a.m. I ended up getting there at 12:30. Made great timing. There was no traffic, and then I get to the hotel, and it is horrible. I mean, like, the shower curtain is like an aged, grossed yellow. I don't know what the yellow came from. The AC didn't work. There was a couple lights that didn't work. I was like, I'm out of this place. And so luckily, my parents were already there in Orlando. My parents and my brothers were already in Orlando. So I was like, you know what? Forget it. I'm driving to Orlando. And so I drove to Orlando, and I got there at 3:15.
Woo!
Fun times.
That's dedication.
Yeah. And so we stayed at a place off property, and then the next morning we got up, and our room at the Fort Wilderness Cabins was ready at 9:30.
Whoa, that's early.
Yeah, it was awesome. Got to go and move all of our stuff over before we went to Magic Kingdom. And so we went to Magic Kingdom that day, and then I think I went to Epcot alone. It was great.
I mean, I do want to say something about the Fort Wilderness Cabins.
Go.
Brandon, we can speak to this pretty heavily. We can't be shocked that they were ready at 9 o'clock in the morning, because there is a couple of streets back there where that's just where they send people to get murdered in the middle of the night. It's just creepy back there.
I agree. We drove through that loop when you were staying with us in November, and it was super odd and super weird. All they had, completely empty, but all they had was all of the TVs on in all of the cabins, and it made like this eerie, weird blue light, and you thought for sure some killer clown or somebody was coming out to stab you and take you into the woods. It was the creepiest thing I've ever been to. So yes,
you didn't
not
want
surprising.
your headlights to be there.
No. We were looping on the I always call them go-karts. Golf carts.
What it is.
We were looping on the golf carts, and I think your wife was at the helm. We got back there, and I was like, vertical pedal on the right, stand on it. I was like, get me out of here.
Oh my gosh.
It was creepy.
Oh, so much fun. Okay, so then
so needless to say, I'm glad you guys made it out alive.
We did.
Yes.
It was great.
Yes.
I didn't actually stay at the cabins. My family stayed there. But I got to hang out there a lot. I stayed at Mystic Dunes. It's off property. And I mean, it was nice. I liked it.
Yeah. I've stayed there before. I like it a lot. They're huge.
And so I was there. We were there for five days before Dave came, and my brother-in-law and sister and niece and nephew came. So they all came on the same day.
I brought the party.
And Dave came and stayed with me, and that's when
magical.
the party started. It was great. No, we had a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun.
Yeah, so I came in late Thursday night. But this was my favorite arrival that I've ever had in the history of going to Disney. I'm not kidding. So Matthew picks me up from the airport. He did a great job guiding me to him because Orlando Airport is massive. And so I walked right out to him. He had his phone set up on top of the dash and started playing Disney's Magical Express from like the 90s. It was awesome.
It was epic.
I loved it. And so that was our whole ride back to the resort. It was fantastic.
Yeah. Oh, so much fun.
It was good. And then so Friday we all woke up and went to
Magic
the Kingdom of Magic. Well, Brandon and Krista were working, but
we
they
all
were there
didn't go. Some people have to work.
Yeah.
But you took a half a day to hang out with us.
I did.
Yeah. And Dave and I, it was great. We got to the Magic Kingdom, and what did we do first thing? We basically got there at rope drop.
Yeah, pretty much.
And what did we rope drop? Haunted Mansion.
You know it. That's my jam.
It was great. And we didn't we literally, you'll see in Experience Disney, that's the one he recorded.
That's right.
We literally walked through the line. There was nobody in front of us, and we just walked right through, right onto the ride.
Yeah, it was
probably the most convenient point of view video that you'll ever see.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's like we had the joint to ourselves.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, I was looking at my Disney experience, the photo pass, and I saw your guys' pictures at like 8:24, and I was like, dang, they hit it early.
So, okay, we get to Magic Kingdom, and then we do that, and then we surprised my niece and nephew. They got surprised that they were going to Disney World, and then they got even more surprised when they found out that my family was there. So it was super fun that we got to have that fun special time with them.
I got to see that moment. It was cool.
Dave did see that moment. He was there.
Fun. So we wandered around and
we did a couple things.
Yeah, we did Space Mountain.
We traumatized my nephew with Space Mountain.
Did Buzz Lightyear, and then your family went to like lunch, but we had a late afternoon reservation at my favorite place to eat at Magic Kingdom, which was the Skipper Canteen. So Brandon and Krista got off for lunch and met us there, and we had lunch and had an absolute blast. Their steak becomes highly recommended, and their cheese bread is awesome, but Brandon doesn't like cheese, so
no.
We got to enjoy all of it.
Their cheese bread was really good.
You guys got to enjoy all of it. So
would absolutely get that again. Oh my gosh.
And then we just kind of wandered around and did rides in Magic Kingdom. And late that night, we went to Epcot, right? Just for a couple of hours.
Hold on, just for a moment. Skipper Canteen. Hi, I hope you're listening. Honey, your onion puree is just pure gold. I love you. Okay, that's all. Thank you.
Not the steak.
No, the steak,
onion
just
puree.
the onion puree.
It just goes well with everything. And the steak was to die for.
I will say this. They cook their steaks to what you order. It's not, that's very rare, no pun intended, but like I feel like you have to order medium rare at some places to actually get a medium. And here they were cooked pretty spot on. So it's a good place.
I noticed the same thing. What I really liked about the steak there is that it was perfectly cooked in the middle, but it was like charred on the outside. I loved that. It was so good.
It had that charred taste on the outside.
Yes.
Wasn't that good?
Yeah. And I got the fried chicken, which has the best title. The name of the chicken has the best title. It says, "Tastes like chicken," in parentheses. That's because it is. And it is, it actually had a great fried taste. A lot of fried chicken just tastes like grease. But this actually the batter had a really good taste to it. And it was really, really good. And the French fries.
I gotta get that next time.
Gotta get the French fries. The French fries were amazing.
Oh yeah, I got fries with my steak. That's not typically what it comes with, but I got fries with my steak, and it was so good.
So good as is. I feel like it was just like peppers and chimichurri and
collard greens.
Yeah. Oh no, I did not get the collard greens.
I thought it was hilarious when they brought Brandon's fried chicken. He was the server. He was like, "All right, we have the fried chicken. That's because that's what it is." And he put it down on in front of Brandon, and he was like, "Just trust me. Just trust me." It was great. They stay in character so well there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I love about the servers and the staff.
Yeah.
I mean, we sat and waited for, our table in the lobby. And it's just amazing how they're like very regimented in their delivery of their jokes. There's this weird fan that is in the lobby that's supposed to be like a ceiling fan, but it doesn't really do anything. It just kind of slowly moves back and forth. And we sat and we listened to the guy. He would be like, Johnson party of 3. And he's like, sorry we didn't get to see a lot of the sights here. You've seen our ceiling fan. You don't see something like that every day. And then there was just a little bit of a beat, and he was like, "Unless you're me, and I see it every 5 minutes."
Yeah, it was good, and he did that like every 3 or 5 guests that he called back. So it was fun to see them do their little routine. So as you can imagine, as the skippers in the Skipper Canteen, not all of that jokeness transfers over, but they sprinkled just the right amount in there and it's good. Dry. It's good eats. It comes highly recommended. I haven't eaten at many of the other sit-down restaurants in there. I think I know you've been Crystal Palace. I think the only other one I've eaten at is Tony's, which we're actually going to talk about that in next week's Reimagineer It.
Yeah. let's see, where have I eaten there?
Well, I know you've done Crystal.
I've done Crystal Palace, Cinderella's Royal Table. Been 15 years since I've done that. And everybody in my family got sick after that, so honestly, I haven't really wanted to go back. And then I've done.
Have you done
Skipper
Golden
Canteen?
Horseshoe?
No. I've done Tony's. I have not done Golden Horseshoe
Or
the
Tree
Liberty Tree
Tavern.
I haven't, but I've heard it's good.
Yeah.
I no reason I haven't gone. I just haven't.
Yeah.
But I will say I will go back to Skipper Canteen and I will leave room for dessert because they offered dessert and we were like, my belly is my poor belly. I can't handle anymore. But I will leave room for dessert and I'm very excited for the next time I go.
Yeah, man. It's good.
Yeah.
I think that's the second time I've been with the Palmerinos. It's good stuff.
First time I've ever been. Ever.
It's awesome.
I want to back up a little bit. That morning was the first time that I experienced going into the park and using my Magic Mobile. So I just used my watch the entire time that I was there, and it is a seamless, flawless, perfectly executed experience. I mean, I did it at all 4 parks, but that morning obviously was my first time. They've got it down to a science at the park entry. Now, we'll talk about something a little bit later when we hit another park of where there's room to grow, and I'm sure they're working on it. But besides getting into the park, as for getting into the park, it is perfection. They know what they're doing.
I have always wanted that experience of not having the Magic Band because I do have an Apple Watch, and so when I walked up there, don't have to press anything. I just walk up, scan my Apple Watch like I scan my Magic Band. It was so great. It was so great. I will say they got to figure out a way to bring that to hotel rooms because it's not there.
Yeah, I'm sure it's coming. And
I hope so.
That definitely makes sense because we came to visit you and your family at the Fort Wilderness Cabins, and it was kind of windy, and we were all out on the patio having dinner, and every 3 seconds it was like, don't let the door shut, don't let the door shut, don't let the door shut, because we would have been locked out. So they definitely should try to find, I'm sure it's coming. You can do it at the Hilton, you can do it at Sheratons and things like that. So I'm sure eventually it will be, coming that you can use it all over property. But like Dave said, at the entrance of the park, super easy. I just love that you don't even have to go into the app or go into the pass on your wallet. You just, your watch could really be dead essentially, and you could still use it.
Yeah.
I wish I would have tried it with my phone, right? Because I did not.
I did. I tried it with my phone. It worked.
And so you don't have to unlock it, open it, nothing. So it's just the same.
Yep.
That's awesome. Now let's just not in any particular order, but let's move on to EPCOW. I think I'm ready to move on from festivals. Yeah, I think I am. I think we're going to go with EPCOW.
EPCOW.
Mm-hmm. The experimental prototype community of walls.
Who is that? DSNY newscast?
No, I don't remember who it was. It was just a guy I saw on TikTok. Yeah. But it was pretty funny. But
that's right.
So, but there is something happening that I personally will be heartbroken if it changes, and that is, if you're familiar with Epcot, behind Spaceship Earth was the big giant, I guess you would call it their hub area where the Starbucks was there and Innoventions East and West and Mouse Gear and the big fountain. All that is blocked off while they're recreating whatever they're recreating and demoing and rebuilding those buildings. But what's incredible is when you walk in right before you get to Spaceship Earth, you can turn right and you can be at the seas and the land in like a minute and a half. There's no more going around. I really hope they keep it like that.
I agree.
And then unfortunately to get to the test track area, that's kind of a zigzaggy still, just lots of construction going on over there. But
I'm wondering if it's actually going to stay that way because, especially for the side of the seas, because I don't know how big Moana Journey of Water is going to be, but it's got to be blocking some walkway.
Right.
So I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
Hopefully it does stay.
Yeah, I hope it stays. It's definitely convenient. Like if you're trying to get over there to Soarin' or living with the land in the old days, it would take 10 minutes to walk over there. Now, like Dave said, you enter the park, you say hi to Spaceship Earth, you take a right and you're there. So
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
fantastic.
it's awesome.
Yeah. That's what I love about it.
What else? I mean, I did the whole loop
I didn't even do a whole
of
loop
World
this time.
World Showcase.
World Showcase.
I have words
The
every
old
time.
shoecase.
Well, I mean, I didn't do a full loop. I got very close. Did you? I remember I FaceTimed you when I went back to China, and they had that huge Shanghai Disney
Yes.
showcase. Did you go back there? Mm-hmm. Oh,
I recorded the whole. I went to I did an Experience Disney for every land in the world, country in the World Showcase, except for U.S., Canada, and Mexico, because Mexico, I thought I recorded it and didn't. It happens.
Why you got to be biased towards North America?
And I love the Mexico Pavilion. That was the one that I talked about in my 5 underrated things.
It's so
Yeah, I mean-
underrated that you didn't even film it.
Yeah.
yes.
I didn't want to ruin it for you. Yeah, I mean, it was good. Like, I mean, that's my second favorite park. I am ready for the construction to be done, but I know that like there's a long haul. I mean, I would be shocked if we don't still have some type of construction still going into 2022.
Yeah.
But that's all right. I mean, they'll get there. It's a huge transformation, and obviously COVID slowed down a big ton of it. And of course, we lost some things because of that, which, you know, I'll be sad. Like, I was really looking forward to Cherry Tree Lane, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's just me. I know that's dead in the water.
I mean, I will say one thing I'm really excited about, hopefully starting this summer with Creation Shop and Club Cool opening, I'm hoping we're going to have some new walkways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got to get back there somehow.
I mean, well, I'm wondering if the left exit for Spaceship Earth will lead you to Creation Shop. Like, if you're going to be able to walk from Spaceship Earth to World Showcase without having to go back and around Guardians.
It's almost shocking that Spaceship Earth doesn't dump you into a shop, because they love to do that coming out of a ride.
Yeah.
Yeah. I will say, once Spaceship Earth finally gets its reimagining, I'm pretty sure the exit area is going to be lines. I'm pretty sure it's going to be queues, and they'll find a way to
Brandon,
reroute everything.
I know that. Well, I mean, I guess all three of the other parks are fairly easy for you guys to get to, but you guys frequent Epcot a lot. Like, when you go, like, what do y'all? I mean, what do you do? Like, do you typically hang out in Future World, or do you guys meander over to World Showcase?
A majority of our time is spent in World Showcase. We don't really do a lot in Future World. Krista doesn't really ride a lot of things. So like Mission Space is out, Test Track's out. She'll ride Soarin' and Living with the Land and Nemo, but we don't spend a huge amount of time in Future World. We like to just, you know, generally we'll go there after work, and then we'll just go straight to the World Showcase. We'll go left to Mexico, Matthew, and then we'll go around the World Showcase, kind of look at merch and have a drink, grab something to eat at one of the festival's booths, and it'll take an hour and a half maybe, and we'll just walk around the World Showcase, and then we'll leave. But
Nice.
yeah, we don't hang out a lot in Future World. You know, we really love the countries.
So we didn't see you on Saturday.
No.
So Brandon and Krista, Matthew, like I said, finally snagged them a pass to Animal Kingdom, and I had been at Epcot all day, and I hopped over to meet them over at Animal Kingdom, and we just kind of wandered back there. We had some eats at Satula Canteen, and literally just sat and hung out till like 45 seconds before park closing, and got in line at Flight of Passage, and that's really all we did at Animal Kingdom. It was it was excruciatingly hot on Saturday. And of course, you know, when you go to Animal Kingdom, you multiply that by 10 with the humidity, for just that park just seems to be so hot and more humid than the rest of the parks.
Yeah.
And so we just kind of hung out and chilled. It was good. And then always fun to ride Flight of Passage.
Yeah. And while we were sitting at Saltuli Canteen, Dave, tell them about the cast member that we were watching, you know, at do her job while she was there.
She was the second person that I noticed that day. There was somebody else. There's another cast member at Epcot that I noticed too, but let's talk about her first. So they were nearing closing time, and so obviously you have to stay open. And so we were sitting inside to enjoy that air conditioning part because there is a lot of outdoor shaded seating at Satuli Canteen, but we jumped inside and sat in there. One, because something that's kind of newer, we talked about it, is you can now refill your own cups. So before, cast members were having to do that. So it was nice to just keep getting, we got kids meals with the little cup, and we just kept getting lots of
beverages.
Right? Yeah, lots of little refills. So we were watching her, and there was something that I noticed that she was doing. So like me, in my American laziness, I would like do what was expected, but not always go above and beyond, like when I was in my 20s, right? And so she was never stopping. She was the detail and level that she was cleaning was the first thing that I noticed, right? And then she was never stopping and just standing and waiting. Or if she did, she would lean, stand there, and she would constantly be just kind of on a sprinkler, just watching like who she could help, what she could do. And then there was a guy with a stroller that was struggling to get out the door, and she was like, "Sir, let me help you." And I was just the attention to detail and level that she took her job as somebody who was like a cafeteria worker, for lack of a better term, is what always blows me away about these cast members. Just the effort that they put into, like, I told her, I said, I don't know how far you want to go in this company, but you will not be in a position like this very long. I was like, it's clearly that you have a heart for what you do. You have a heart for people, and you take your job seriously. And then I think you actually, through the app, were able to like write to like leadership about her, right?
Compliments.
Yeah, we sent a cast compliment. Her name was Ariel. So Ariel, if you're listening, or if you ever do listen to this, we certainly appreciated the level of detail and the amount of effort you put into your job.
Yeah,
it just goes to show you, no matter where you are positioned, you can make a difference in somebody's day. So Ariel, awesome job.
Yeah, and then there was a guy at Epcot that was extremely, I wouldn't say, it was very windy all weekend, which was great because it was, kind of warm on Saturday. Friday was gorgeous, but the breeze was definitely welcome and everywhere you get. And so obviously people throw all their trash on the ground, or things just get away from people. And so there's a lot to be. And so this guy was, had his little sweeper and the little portable dustpan that they take with him. And he was like, there was like literally a straw wrapper that he swept and missed, and it blew, I don't know, 25 feet away. He followed it over there and swept it up. And I just kept watching, and I was like, any other person, I'm be honest, I'm like, well, that's gone. I would not have chased it down, and so when I just see the seriousness that they take their jobs, no matter at what level, I'm just like, people say, why Disney? That's why. Like, you don't go anywhere else and see that level of care for their job. Is that fair? Is that a good word?
Yeah.
Care. I mean, it was a level of care that you just don't see anywhere else. So I was very impressed.
So yeah, that was a great experience with those cast members at both Epcot and Animal Kingdom. So really all that we have left from our visit was our trip to Hollywood Studios, which was awesome.
Yeah, we went to Hollywood.
I also have some choice words about Hollywood Studios, but I'll save those for after your choice words.
Oh my! No. I cannot wait to hear this. Okay, so that was my fly home day, but we got there, I don't know, 11ish. Isn't that right, Brandon?
Yeah, about 11.
Walked down Hollywood Boulevard. Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
The Sunset is where you turn right and head toward
Tower of Terror.
Tower of Terror. So I walked down Hollywood, and I opened up the app, and I was like, oh, there was only 25-minute wait for Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. So I went and got in line, and you guys were pulling up and walking through the parking lot. So I got in line for us, and so we rode that, and that was good. There seems to be one. This wasn't my first time that there was a little hang up in the ride, and for me, it's always been in Daisy's dance studio. It's actually really funny because she gets her, because she always ends with "ready," and her little eyes are like. And it just froze for 5 seconds. The last time I did it, her eyes were open and she was doing this. It was really fun. For those of you who are listening, she was blinking and looking to the left and to the right, like she was watching us. It was almost like it gave you the feel like, one student is not doing what they're supposed to do, and they're just going to stay there quiet until the student pays attention. That's what it felt like. I love that. But yeah, good ride. I mean, that's a really fun. I mean, I'm sad the Great Movie Ride is gone, but they didn't update it, and this has been a really, really fun replacement for me. At least.
Yes, it's a good replacement. Yeah. And so we got off that ride, and when we walked out the door, it was pouring rain.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, a torrential downpour. So we had to stay underneath the cover at the exit. We waited maybe 20, 25 minutes. As more and more people came out, it became more crowded. So we decided to go grab some lunch over at the ABC commissary. Dave, tell them about the sandwich that you got.
Oh my gosh. They've changed the menu over the last year or so,
really
and it's
good now.
really good. And so I got this buffalo chicken grilled cheese sandwich.
Oh, I was going to try that. My brother got that.
Gosh. I'm dead. I have now, my path to Disney World is always first day Magic Kingdom, first ride Haunted Mansion. Now I think it's going to be go to Disney's Hollywood Studios, get this sandwich. I'm pretty sure that's what's replacing it. It was so good. And they have like those fat steak fries. Oh,
yes.
Their fries,
it was
their steak
delectable.
fries are so good.
Oh. But interestingly enough, at ABC Commissary, they did still have a cast member refilling drinks.
Yeah, that was
I noticed
weird.
that.
Yeah, that was weird.
And it's kind of like a resort to resort thing too, because like Fort Wilderness, I think they were still refilling. Is that right, Brandon? Did you notice that?
Yes, actually, now that you say that, because there's not, when you go pick up your food at P&J's, there's not really any soda machines out in the area. So I think they still were going back to the rear to fill it up.
But that's different than ABC Commissary. It's just out on either wing, right? Don't they have them on either side?
Interesting.
But it was fine. Yeah. She was awesome. She was like, I could compliment her too. We had fun messing around with her. Because we sat there for a good while, and then we got up to leave, and I was like, dang, girl, you're still here? You need a break. And I was like, where's your manager? So, she was smiling and having a good time, and it was great. Fun. And then we went to Rise
of the Resistance.
Yes.
Of the Resistance.
Well, you and your bride had you had popcorn, and she had what did she have at Galaxy's Edge?
She got the Ronto Roasters wrap.
Yeah.
Oh.
Which we have this plumbing company in Virginia Beach called Roto-Rooter, and that's just what every time I say, like, where you guys want to meet? Roto-Rooters? I'm such an idiot. I do.
We sat there for a while.
That. Love that sandwich. Or is it a sandwich? What is it? Wrap?
It's a wrap.
There you go.
It's a
Ronto wrap. It's called a Ronto wrap, not a Ronto Rooter.
I hate my life.
Roto wrap.
Roto wrap rooter.
We chilled and waited for our boarding thing. Okay, and so this is where the experience was significantly different with the My Magic mobile app than at the entrance. So if you haven't ridden this ride yet, we're not going to talk about that and give you spoilers, but it's a digital queue that you get either early in the morning or again at 1 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yep.
And so, and then you wait for your boarding group to get called. It'll notify you in the app, and then you go over, see a cast member, and then so there's one that's kind of standing there, and then say like, "Oh, you're," and then they'll point you to like one of a handful of cast members that have their mobile device. I don't know what it really was. I don't know if it was like an iPad or it almost looks like, if you've ever worked in retail, it looks like a point of sale system. That's what it looks like to me. And so they go to scan, and so I'm like, I have my watch already, and she was like, no, we can't do that. You need the app. And I'm like, really? And so I had my phone all hooked up on the thing, ready to record the ride, and so I had to pull that off, and then I opened up the app, and I was like, okay. And then she was like, no, you have to do, and I was like, man, okay. So I wasn't angry or frustrated. The process is what it is, but the challenging thing is, as many cast members that seem to be running that area, I wish that there were somebody out there saying, hey, go ahead and have your queue whatever ready. You'll be looking for a QR code. Open that up and have that QR code ready before we get you to your to the cast member. We didn't really get into that, and the challenging part was she wasn't mean or rude but in any way, shape, or form. But it did kind of seem like, no, you have to have your app open. No, I can't do that here. You need to scroll down to the QR code. So I mean, I get how many times they have to answer that, but it was not a very fluid system, and I'm sure they're probably still working on how to do it so you can just do the tap and it's ready. But then Matthew had a completely different experience.
Okay, so I walked up. My brothers and I all have our Apple Watches, and basically, I walk up, or my brother walks up, and he's like, "I don't have my Magic Band with me. What can I do?" And she's like, "Oh, just double click on the side button, go into your wallet, and it'll be right there. Let me show you how long this takes. Double click. Let's find there it is, and QR code."
Yeah, that was not our experience, Brandon.
It took.
That was not ours.
It did not take long at all. And so here's what I've gathered from hearing Dave's story and from my story. New technology is always bumpy, and Disney doesn't quite know how to train it to their people.
Right. Yeah.
I obviously had a very knowledgeable cast member who knew what they were doing with Magic Mobile. Dave did not.
Right.
But that's not to say they didn't know what they were doing, because obviously, like, they were like, you have to go to the QR
right
code.
Yeah.
It makes me love Disney World even more, because like I rode Rise of the Resistance out at Disneyland, and there you have to pull up a QR code on your phone.
Yeah.
There is always a QR code you have to pull up. But I mean,
yeah,
it's just that's all I've gathered is new technology is always rough and rocky, getting going. So,
but the frustrating thing
implementation is not very well.
Yeah,
it is not very good.
The only thing that was frustrating to me is either they're still working on their technology, which is fine, but what they don't have to work hard at is making sure across the board, like, okay, if a cast member, if a guest has an Apple Watch, here's what they can do. If they don't, here's how you guide them through on their phone. Like, it was it wasn't like, I mean, I held my watch out and she literally said, "No, we can't do that here." And so I was like, "Oh," and then it was like, cause I had the phone on a gimbal. So it was take the phone off the gimbal, unhook the headphones thing from my goofy nerdy microphone thing, and then go into the app. And then I went into the app and I was like, "Oh, I thought that's all she needed." No, I can't do that. And so it wasn't a good consumer end experience, but it wasn't bad. Nobody was mean. It's just like, it's kind of like I wish I knew that 20 feet ago. Like that was all it really was.
Yeah,
sure.
Yeah, and it's important to know that it's not just the virtual queue at Rise of Resistance. This is in any of the parks, none of them have the ability to scan the My Magic Mobile and scan whatever pass you have. So that's disability access pass. That's return pass if the ride breaks down. All those rider swap, all of those things are a QR code that have to be pulled up on your app or on your watch. So it's not specific to Rise of the Resistance. Like Dave said, I mean, there's always a line to get into be scanned at Rise of the Resistance, and all it takes is, like Dave said, hey, make sure you pull up your watch, click on the 3 dots at the pass, and it brings up the QR code to have that ready for the next cast member.
Yeah, the biggest thing for me is I just picture my mom, right? And this is what I said weeks ago when we first started hearing about them rolling this out. And that was like, I can imagine my mom. She's like, like she just gets there and it's like, it's on my phone now. Where's the app? Oh, I'm not logged in. I don't know my password, right? And so you run into all, like, that's what my fear is when I think about my parents, right, as not technologically savvy, and then you don't want that cast member that has to spend 15 minutes with my moms out there having to kind of unpack and help them do this. But that's what, like, so sneak tip: tell moms to keep using the Magic Band.
Yeah.
It works great.
Yeah, yeah. If you have the Magic Band, you scanned it like normal. So
yeah. All right. What else? Anything different for you at Hollywood Studios you want to talk about?
Yeah, actually. Okay. So this is one thing I've seen come up more and more in like Disney newsdom. Is this? A lot of people are talking about Rise of the Resistance and skipping the first 2 parts of Rise of the Resistance. There's 4 parts. There's spoilers, pre-show, ship, second or third pre-show essentially, and then the ride. And so a lot of people are skipping those first 2 parts. And I did that. So I rode Rise of the Resistance 3 times on this last trip. I've ridden it 9 times total. And just for like statistics, 4 out of my 9 times something has gone wrong. And so I've experienced the pre-show more times than I've experienced the entire experience. So that's fun. So I'll get out, like I've gotten onto the Star Destroyer twice and I have to exit. Like #Magic Ruin. That was Dave's first time.
Yeah, that's right.
Didn't you stand in there for like 15 minutes? You just were hanging out there?
That was one time. The other time was with my family on their first time. And we sat in the room with the stormtroopers for 45 minutes. We sat there. We didn't stand. We sat there.
That's a lot of pressure. As somebody in the Resistance, I would have broke.
Right. So no. Eventually, the cast members did actually break character, and they were like, they were super chill. It was weird. It was weird. And what's even weirder is walking into that room with no sound effects.
Oh, I bet.
We were sitting in there, and eventually they turn off all the
the screen.
The TIE fighter sounds and all the screen stays on. You see the TIE fighters passing. You don't hear the. What? I can't. My voice. You don't hear it. It's so weird. And they turn off the music. It's just dead silent. It's so odd.
That's
anyway.
Creepy.
That wasn't my experience this time. My experience this time is I bypassed both of the first 2 parts. So I have actually bypassed the pre-show before and just gone straight onto the ship. But this time I bypassed the pre-show and the ship. And
did you walk through the ship or did they direct you around the ship?
Well, you can't walk through the ship because the ship is on a carousel. Mm-hmm. And so the ship actually moves. But no, we went in a back entrance to the Star Destroyer. So it was like we walked from Batuu onto a Star Destroyer that is somehow off of Batuu. I don't know how that happened. It's weird. Okay, so that is how that goes down. Okay, so but here's what I want to talk about here. I've experienced this before, like I said, where we walk through the pre-show or we walk through the pre-show and skip the ship. But everybody's freaking out like, oh, this happens sporadically. No, it doesn't. It happens at the beginning of the day when they're trying to funnel people into the ride to get people to start the ride, because it does take 10 minutes for you to get from like finish the first pre-show, then finish the ship, and then you're off to go get interrogated. But if they just funnel people in, then that's skipping a lot of people and they get more riders on before the ride breaks down. And so I've noticed that it happens at the beginning of the day and it happens right after the ride goes back online.
Yeah.
So if you're trying to experience the full experience, go 45 minutes after it reopens.
Yeah.
Or go 45 minutes after it opens for the day. And that's how you'll experience, like, the ship doesn't go down. It doesn't break down from what I've seen.
Yeah, it's pretty solid now.
It works really well. And the pre-show, nothing about that breaks. It doesn't. And so, I mean, so that's my 2 cents. If you're worried about this because you saw a big news outlet A or big news outlet B saying, "Oh no, everything's not working anymore," that's not how it is. Disney's just changing the way they do it. They need to funnel people onto that attraction before it breaks down.
Yeah.
So
now I personally
that's my rant. That's my 2 cents.
Have a huge issue with that because those first 2 things literally give you the story of what you're doing. And Disney
I have a problem with that too.
Disney is storytelling. That's what like everything at Disney is a story. Main Street is a story.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, and so I don't know how you like, if it was my first time on that ride, I don't get all crazy about Disney very often, but I would be livid if I didn't get to experience, because I recorded it and it's right at 20 minutes. I think it was 19 minutes and 40 seconds is what I recorded from walking into the room where it starts. I don't want to ruin it and then to the getting off and exit it and walking out of the ride area. And so I just put like, that's where you find out your mission. Like I can say that, like that's not giving away anything. And I just don't know how, if that was my first time, I would be like, what's so special about this ride?
Yeah. I mean, if there's anything, I walk onto that, I walked in, my first experience luckily was flawless. I had a great first experience on that ride. And nothing about it was broken down. If I were to walk onto that ride, and walk through the pre-show, which was the first time I ever experienced that, the first time I experienced the problem was walking through the pre-show. And so I was like, dang it. Like, I skipped a really important part, but I feel bad for all these people who also skip this important part because I'm going to just say spoiler alert. Like, Rey tells you your mission. She tells you where you're going when you board this ship. She tells you what you do. And then you go onto the ship and the ship gets taken over by the First Order. And that's when you end up on the Star Destroyer. So if you skip the part where Rey tells you where you're going to the rendezvous point on Bakara. If you skip that, then you get up to where you're going to go get interrogated. You don't know why you're being interrogated.
Yeah.
Like I just know the classic line that the First Order people say when you are standing there about to get interrogated is they're like, you will give up the secrets. You will give up the secrets of the Resistance. And it's like, I don't have any secrets of the Resistance.
My favorite part is there's you talked about cast members they're on stage. I mean, all the time. Anytime we're in the park, it's considered on stage. But definitely when you've got these cast members there that are in a ride experience where they're genuinely acting. And Brandon, our ride was really funny because you could tell. Because of COVID, people are always kind of waiting to be told because it's not just funneling people in like a herd. Now there's specific places where you need to stand, so they give you a color and you're on that color throughout your different experiences on this ride. So what's funny is when you get done with the second part and it's time for you to move on, like the guy comes in and is giving you orders, like not kindly because he's in his role, but it's so funny, he's like, it's time for so please get out, and then no one moved, and he was like, now. It's like, start moving now.
my favorite one, I was with my brother-in-law and we were standing on our blue dot and he looks up at my brother. This is the first time he's ever ridden the ride. And he's like, look down at the circle you are standing on now and pay close attention to the color you are standing on. And he looks up at my brother-in-law and goes, what color are you standing on? And he goes, gray? The dot was blue, and my brother-in-law is colorblind.
Oh no!
The first order guy was like, "Oh no,
not going to get any information out of this Resistance fighter."
He was like, "And can you help him?" And I was like, "Yes, it's blue."
It's blue.
I don't know what to say. Yeah. So
they're great in there. I love those cast members. And when Dave and I were waiting in the interrogation room, there's always like the bachelorette party or the group of girls. So one girl was filming the interrogation of her friend, and so the First Order guy would be like, "What do you know of the Resistance?" And the girl would just giggle. And he had a great line. He was like, "Your friend won't help you. She's just here to document your failure," which I thought was a hilarious line.
It was really, those girls were dying because it was almost like they were trying to say, "I don't know a lot about Star Wars because I haven't watched the movie," without saying, "I don't know a lot about Star Wars because I haven't watched the movie." I don't think they got the concept of what he was doing. And she was like, I don't really know. It was almost like she was saying, I don't know what you're talking about. And then it was just like, don't look at her. She's just here to document your failure. It was a good cast, that ride. It was really fun.
Yeah.
I have one more very minor, very like first world problem rant. Okay, so the Millennium Falcon queue, I just gotta say, we were in line for Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run, and like, you think of Galaxy's Edge as this very immersive, very incredible land, right? We waited backstage. We looked at the backside of the rocks of Galaxy's Edge.
The backside of rocks.
And it was just very odd. Like, there's these giant backstage doors where obviously they would like truck stuff in, but it's just like those doors were open and we waited in this queue area back there. But I mean, now needless to say, I know why they're doing this. We're going to a theme park in the middle of a pandemic. Yeah. I mean, they're running out of areas to put people. It makes sense. It was just kind of a bummer.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's all over the parks, man. It's like if you go during COVID, you're just going to see lines.
Kilimanjaro, went to a backstage area I didn't know existed.
Yeah.
What else did I send you guys? I did Kilimanjaro.
We experienced it in February with Midway Mania. We went back to some area I'd never seen before.
Yeah.
I mean, they do their best. They're trying to hide things with like tree carts. I don't know how to play it. Like they're like these big, these really tall bushes that are on these things they can roll around and put anywhere. So they're doing the best they can, and to me, it's worth it for them to be open, and not have to experience what unfortunately California has.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I mean, that's absolutely 100% correct. Oh, I remember another one. I got to go back and stand by Phantasmic for Tower of Terror. It was great.
Oh, fun.
Yeah.
Oh,
I loved
yes. I remember that picture.
Yes. It was very unexpected is the right word I would
That's
use. And that's one I'm not going to complain about because, like,
I can't wait till that reopens.
It's closed. I can't wait for it to be
open. I think it's cooler in Disneyland, but that's a different story. All right, man, this is a good trip. Like, we don't... Yeah. Brandy gets to go back 17,000 times before we do, but we'll all be back together in...
October.
For the 50th. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
5050.
Hopefully in Magic Kingdom.
Yeah.
Hopefully so.
Fingers crossed. Mm-hmm. Well, is that it?
I think that's it.
I think that's it.
We thought it was going to be a shorter show. Don't think it was.
Not necessarily.
But, I mean, it's fun to talk about parks. I mean, I think people are interested in what, each experience was like. And for me, it was fantastic. It was just... The only even negative part that it had is just that they're still growing in how they're utilizing their new technology. That's fine. Like it's fine to be. I'm glad they're testing it and making it work. It was a minor inconvenience at best, but it was good.
I'm glad they're making technological advances in the middle of a pandemic.
Yeah, for real.
That's epic. Yeah. I mean, come on. So, good stuff.
Good stuff.
All right, Matthew, where can the people find us and connect with us?
Where can the people find us? I don't know. I'm just kidding. Okay, people, you can find us on Facebook and Instagram, all at Another Disney Podcast. And you can go to our website, anotherdispodcast.com. That's where you can find a link to our merch. And you can hit us up at our phone number, 757-562-4743.
I think it's 573.
So
it'll be on the screen,
we'll
right?
Put it on the screen right
now.
Somewhere.
So
oh, so close.
If you're a Twitterverse, we're Another Diz Pod because Another Disney
Diz
Podcast is too long. And so Another Diz Pod is our Twitter handle.
That's it. And then hit us up on YouTube, youtube.com/Another Disney Podcast.
I know it.
You know it.
I think that's
it.
That's all where people can find us.
New show coming Monday. The next Reimagineer drops Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
We do have an announcement. We shouldn't have said this for the last part of the show. We have hired a what are we calling your wife?
Marketing
Our marketing
manager.
director.
Marketing manager. Hashtag marketing manager.
Yeah, in case you didn't see our live on YouTube, we probably said marketing manager 52
Yes.
times because we were so
It
excited.
was so funny. Your wife
about
was just
Krista.
off screen or texting you. She was like, mention the stuff.
No,
this.
we were like walking. We like planned to walk down Main Street during our live stream, and she meets us like halfway, and then Brandon and I both look over at her. She's like, "Talk about your favorite ride of the day." Like as we're walking,
about your
she's
favorite meal.
I'm trying to be nonchalant. Talk about your favorite ride of the day.
We don't know how to advertise what we do or sell
No, we're
ourselves
very
very
bad
well.
No.
about that. Anyway,
Thank God for her.
That's what she does for a living. So thank
We'll give
you,
her that.
Krista.
we'll give her
Yep.
that.
Hashtag marketing manager Krista Palm.
Yes.
All right, man. We will see
All
you
right.
on the internets soon.
See you on the webs.
We will see you onto the interwebs.
Soon.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Bicycle.